Welcome back to the Divine Deception. And we'll just jump right in. We left off with a poll question, a bet to make. If there's somebody in Odin's mysterious underground torture chamber, passageway, somebody alive or dead, but human. Odin's funky basement torture chamber of sorts. Is there a human down there? Yes or no? I think you're of the mind that I am, because it's an overwhelming yes. I agree with that. I think that the human down there is going to be dead, but that wasn't part of the poll question. So, do our math. 9 minus 21. So we're betting 58% of our chips. Nice. On that note, let us answer. Yes. Fun. I like that. I hope you're right. But how confident are you in that guess? Time to find out. We're in 58% of 52. We still have 52 chips, wow. So we're going to bet 30 chips on this. Great. Well, only one way to resolve that bet. We have to see what lurks below in the shadows. Could be a ghost. Ooh, spooky. No? Not scared? Boo, what's the point of you being scared of ghosts if I can't tease you about it? Whatever, let's just move on. Move on we shall. We gotta unlock Thane's next episode. Blame the shooter. Don't mind if I do. The city was dark. Clouds covered the sky. The only lighting was what was provided by the dim, reasonably spaced out lamps scattered around Panthea's central park. The air was cool but not cold. I heard insects chirping. Everything was still. It would have been peaceful had it not been for one man. So, what do you make of the upcoming elections, Thane? To be clear, he still talked in a somewhat hushed voice. Considering we were hiding out, if he spoke in his usual loud, abrasive tone, he'd be doing a pretty shit job. You'd say a lot about Yi, but he did his job. Still, even quiet, Yi found a way to annoy me. Maybe I was just upset with my position. A few days had passed since the Milo situation. Annoyingly, that scene in the restaurant had stuck with me. And even more annoying, I wasn't able to come up with a solution in the intervening days I had. I was still stuck with the role of Thane. No, that wasn't quite right. I didn't have to be doing this. I could run away. Sure, maybe they'd track me down. Maybe not, honestly. Considering everything, maybe I could quit and be fine. The more I thought about it, the more I figured that it would actually be pretty difficult any way you sliced it for the Duats to pin Thane's disappearance to me. If I was really choosing the safest play, I'd just quit while I was ahead. But I couldn't be sure. I guessed I'd be safe, but I couldn't be sure. And I couldn't risk the possibility that I was wrong. Besides, dark as it may be, playing Thane might just have some upsides, assuming I play my cards right. So because of that, I was back, sitting with Yi, waiting to do a job. Yo, Earth to Thane. I know it's late, but you're not nodding off in there, are you? Actually, shit, that's a pretty good idea. You could totally sleep through one of the old bastard's lectures in that mask and nobody'd be the wiser. I'm awake, Yi. You were asking about the election, right? Exactly. Wanted to hear your 2 cents on it. I don't know. I don't have anything interesting to say about that. Looks like Aisha's probably going to win, which is fine. Of fucking course Aisha's going to win. That's not the election I'm talking about. I'm talking about the presidential election. Oh! Our big, beautiful nation's going to be getting a new leader before too long. Isn't that exciting? I guess. To be honest, I haven't really been keeping up with the race. Not really into national politics. Shocker, that. Anyways, on a personal note, I'm sad to see the last guy go. Like his policies or not, he was a pretty respectable dude. I admired his style. That was Yi's reason for liking him. I get the feeling Yi wasn't really all that interested in national politics either. But well, when your time's up, your time's up. He served his 3 terms well. 3? Now it's on to the next eager go-getter. Still, these 5 years passed in the blink of an eye. How time flies. I always thought 5 years was a little long for presidential term limit. It doesn't let things change with the times fast enough. Thane, you're missing the point. Since there's a lot of time between elections, the president doesn't have to worry about re-election efforts. They can just focus on getting stuff done. That's fair. Besides, what would you have the term lengths be? 4 years? 3? 2? No, you can't get any shorter, and what's the point of fucking electing someone in the first place? I guess you're right. Just like that, an awkward silence passed between the two of us. I figured Thane would be bad at maintaining a conversation. However, Yi didn't strike me as the type to usually let lulls like this stand. I had a feeling what this was about. Then moments later, Yi confirmed my suspicions. Say, Thane, we're cool, right? Huh? Just the 2 of us. We're on the same team, right? We're good. He was probably still thrown off by our interaction at Milo's. Makes sense. It was an awkward situation. I had a feeling, given Yi's general disposition, that on some level, he was still a bit suspicious about my actions that night. But that disposition was far outweighed, I figured, by Yi's need to actually have Thane on his side. Thane was actually a strong asset for Yi, one that he couldn't exactly afford to lose, not now of all times. So any suspicions were pushed to the back. Yi needed to make sure Thane was still cool. Needed to make sure I was still cool. Of course. We're cool. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Is there a reason we wouldn't be? Not at all, I just wanted to check in with you, that's all. After the situation at Milo's... Waved my hand dismissively. Forgotten. Cool. Remember what we're working towards. Doesn't matter which one of us gets the Duat headship. What's important is that we make sure that bitch is kept in check. No matter what, she can't rule the Duats. Is that because she came from the gang that opposed the Duats? Or at least her mother was a part of that gang. Is that why Yi is so diametrically opposed to Lara running the Duats? Matter of principle. She won't. Frankly, teaming up against her like this seems overkill. Oh, sorry, wrong voice. Don't go underestimating her, Thane. She's a sneaky little cunt, that's for damn sure. She might act sweet around base, but she's just as cutthroat as us. We've proved that much, right? I know. Still, she's no match. That's for damn sure. He stretched out his arms. Just sitting here was somewhat uncomfortable. Anyways... You know, I keep thinking of Milo. Me too, Yi. Me too. Me too. Why's that? I don't know. Just was a character. It's a Milo. Haven't seen his type in a while. Almost made me nostalgic, if you can believe it. Can't say I feel the same. That's fair, that's very fair. Not saying he wasn't a squirrely little fuck. Still, you have to admire the guts. Take a swing at us, no matter how suicidal. It's not gutsy. It's stupid. Yeah, I can see that perspective. It's a little sad, though, knowing we drove him to force our hand like that. Every now and then, I do get the odd pang of guilt when I see his type. Make sure to squash it, of course. God forbid I have human feelings. Those sentiments are just unhealthy in our line of work. But you know, I think it's good to feel those vestiges every now and then. Keeps us human. You still feel those vestiges, Thane? Rarely. Never change, Thane. Never change. He took this opportunity to adjust how he sat, and to look over the bushes we were hiding in. Then he turned back to me. You know what his problem was, Thane? Milo's? That he didn't know his place. No, don't be so dark, Thane. No, his real problem was quite simple. He sought a justice, tempered by mercy. Justice, tempered by mercy. Yeah, it's an odd quote I find more and more applicable as life goes on. He was hampered by his quest for a justice tempered by mercy. See, if he leaned one way or another, he would have been just fine. If he favored pure justice, well, then it was just a matter of killing as many of us Duat members as he could. Pretty fucking extreme, I gotta say, but it's a clean way of fighting back. He's not exactly a fighter, sure, but if he just bought a gun, ambushed us one by one, I reckon he could rack up a decent kill counter. On the other hand, had he just favored mercy, just wanted to live and let live, then this wouldn't be an issue. He could mind his business, keep going along, living a sad little life. Maybe he'd be racked with the guilt of knowing that he's let injustice prosper or some shit. But he'd be living, and that's definitely the main takeaway. Unfortunately, end of the day, he just couldn't commit. He settled on this compromise, most made sense. Seeking a justice tempered by mercy. And in that pursuit, he attained neither. Certainly a way to view it. It's my opinion that most people have a lot more trouble in life than they need to because they simply can't commit. If more people truly dedicated themselves to a single ideal, well, they'd be a lot trickier to deal with. Since we as humans like to waffle about, we're rife with conflict. It's a way of looking at things. Say, Yi, do you have any limits with the whole enforcing Duat justice thing? Limits? Yeah, of course I have limits. You have to have limits to say sane. See, for me, it's children. Children? Really? Yeah, see, in my opinion, it's impossible for a child to sin. They're just not capable of it. They don't have the proper understanding yet. Even if a child does some real shitty stuff. Yeah, it's still not the child's fault. The person who raised the child's fault. Think if you have a really fucked up kid, then more than likely it's the fault of some really fucked up parents. Fair enough. Okay, then what about this? Let's say there's this middle schooler who really fucking hates the duods. Hates everything they stand for. Somehow they got their hands on the daddy's gun. And as an act of pure spite, the middle schooler goes around and shoots 2 duod officers when they're making the rounds. Do you enforce justice then? Well, Thane, I never said there were cases where justice wouldn't be served. Duod's justice must be ironclad for our whole system to work. So then what would you do? Simple. The children are innocent. I just kill the kids' parents. Well. Okay, good reminder that I was in fact dealing with a complete psychopath. Nice to keep that in mind. Say, Thane. Yesy? I gotta ask. Why do you keep that mask on all the time? Uh-oh. Didn't like the direction this conversation was going. Yeah, they really didn't like it. What do you mean? It's my job. Shadow of Panthea. Yeah, I get that. I know that much. We're not always on duty, you know. Plenty of times we were just shooting the shit. Like back at base. We've all seen your face, you know. I just don't see the point of hiding it like that. It was more annoying than anything. Uh-oh, we're going there. I was on full alert. This might be a casual conversation, but as far as I was concerned, I was already on the job. If this conversation went down the wrong path, I could be totally screwed. Luckily, I did have something of an advantage. By the sound of it, this didn't seem to be a new, recent thing. Thane before me must have also hidden his face most of the time. That gave me a decent bit of leverage. I just keep the mask on. Why do you care? Because we're pals, Thane. Just wanted to make sure you're doing all right. Look, we all know that Marduk was incredibly out of line. For him to do that to you, everyone's perception of him changed after that day. I mean, it really wasn't that bad. Not talking about the pain, of course. Probably hurt like a bitch and all. Just saying if you're worried about the But so many words, I had a rough idea what had happened. Marduk and Thane had gotten into a fight. This fight ended up scarring or burning, or just generally messing up Thane's face in some noticeable way. Was it perhaps somehow related to how Thane got stuck with his job? Whatever, getting off topic. Point is, the natural arc of that conversation was that Thane shouldn't feel like he needs to hide his face. That's the path to moving forwards. Conversation very well could end with he asking me to remove the mask, just temporarily as a stint in self-acceptance or some shit. So that's the moral Yi was gearing up towards. I just had to replace it with a moral of my own. One where keeping the mask on was correct. Thane? I like the mask. You know how you were talking about those vestiges of guilt? The mask helps with that. I know I come across as robotic and shit, but that's intentional. Put myself in that state. And you know how I do it. Remind myself that I'm not me. I'm the shadow of Panthea. I'm out of the mask and be my authentic self. You know, this is just gonna set you up for why can't you be your authentic self with me then, buddy? Pal? Dude? Bro? In the mask, I'm Thane, fearless agent of the Duats. Wearing the mask. I feel like mentally, it helps me keep things separate. Helps me stay sane. I don't know, though. Maybe that line in thinking is in itself a sign of madness. No, I get it, Thane. What you explain makes sense to me. It does. How to put it? In psychology, they say every human has something called a persona. Cheesy, I know. But humans are unique in this aspect. All other animals stay true to their natural selves. But humans, we have a tendency to form identities. However, you know what's funny? This persona concept doesn't come naturally to humans. If you're too young, or mentally impaired, or utterly devoid of autonomy, there are plenty of cases where you don't have a strong sense of identity. Some say there's basically 4 reasons for this identity that we all end up getting. You gotta understand your individuality, the fact that you're separate from the others. You gotta feel a sense of ownership over yourself, that you control your actions. You gotta have a sense of uniformity, that your identity matches those actions. And finally, responsibility, the knowledge that these actions and the consequences for them connect back to the identity, back to you. Now, those are some basic ass requirements, which is why most people end up developing a persona. Still, I think understanding the requirements helps to understand this next point. And that's this. Most people just don't have a persona. At this point, it's customary to have a dozen. Your personal persona, well, it's the identity of how you understand yourself. But public persona are like a different type of mask. Masks for all sorts of occasions. Mask of a son, mask of a father, mask of a boyfriend, mask of a teacher. One person can cycle through a dozen of these masks a day. I mean, this is some high concept shit meant to explain a pretty simple concept. You act differently depending on who you're talking with. Right. That's just human. People have dozens of masks, each with strengths and weaknesses. Some are braver, some are more cowardly. Some are better liars, some are more charismatic, some are more reasonable sounding. They all stem from that personal identity, that personal mask that you wear when nobody else is around. What's the quote? There's a good quote for this. Right. Remember, you are an actor in this play called The World. You have just one duty, to act the role that is given to you well. Epictetus. That men may have a number of questionable views, but I always like that quote in particular. Anyways, what role you must act is a question you have to decide for yourself, and often it'll change on the drop of a dime. Only trick is, sometimes if you get too sucked into one of the masks, you forget the other ones. You forget the most important one, your personal identity. So to that end, I actually think tapping into that physical mask to help differentiate things isn't a bad idea. People's public personas are too different from their personal personas. Some rough shit can begin to happen. This is why celebrities always seem one breath away from a breakdown. If you buy too heavily into separating your personas, some not good shit can happen. Me and I heard about this one guy who suppressed all his sins into one physical mask. Let's say things got out of hand real fast. Despite all that, being able to clearly section off your personas with a physical reminder like that is probably a decent idea. I mean, it's not like there isn't a risk for that to backfire in some serious psychological damage. But then again, I kind of feel like there's no way to avoid that in our line of work, don't you think? Right. I honestly didn't give a shit. I was just happy it looked like I'd gotten through the conversation without my identity getting exposed. Ah, man. Wish I'd brought some smokes with me. Why didn't you? I don't know, man. Guess I just thought. I don't know what I thought, okay? Just chose not to. It was a bad choice. It was a pretty casual conversation. Which felt odd since we were lying in wait to perform an assassination. Oh, I don't know. Guess I always just pictured this sort of thing being conducted with a bit more gravitas? Importance? It was a pretty serious situation. But he wasn't taking it that serious after all. And given his reaction, I'd assumed Thane wouldn't either. Which is where I did my best to blend in. It didn't mean I had to be happy about it. Didn't have to be comfortable with it. So, got something to say? We talk a bit more about the job. Oh, Thane, always such a buzzkill. We still got a good bit of time. I really don't like dwelling on the specifics until we gotta. It's a real damper on things. Just trying to be professional. Yeah, you always are, huh? Fine. We can talk about it. Not much to say, though. Maybe you can probably guess the long and short of it. Judging by our placement, what was lying between the two of us, yeah, I could. To make a long story short, this is a straightforward hit. Your forte. Well, not quite your forte. This one's supposed to be a bit more subtle. Here we are in Panthea's Central Park. No real cameras, plenty of trees and rocks and bushes, not like the ones we're hiding in right now. Perfect place for a little ambush. Especially at a time like this when absolutely nobody should be around. But unfortunately, somebody is going to be coming around shortly. Then we give them a little pop to the back of the head. Settle things cleanly. A couple minutes from now, there's going to be a poor guy in a grey hoodie walking right over through this set of benches. That's the guy you gotta shoot. Presumably with that sniper rifle. Yep. It's clean. No ballistics will lead back to you. Good. But just to shoot the guy in the back of the head. We don't want to make this guy disappear. The client didn't really specify that, so I'm assuming not. Besides, this isn't the sort of person whose death will make waves. Just a simple gunshot will do just fine. Client. Who's this client? And since when did we take clients? Oh, did I not tell you? This one's coming from Art Dasma himself. Oh. Huh? Art Dasma's calling this one in? That? How does that make sense? Luckily the mask blocked my confusion. Art, huh? Yep. It's been a minute since that dude actually contacted us for some direct work. Huh. Probably hurts his pride. I get the feeling he doesn't like to consort with people like us. Yeah, I get that vibe from him. Still, he was the one who reached out to me in the first place, all those years back. One of his guys must have pegged me as one of the Duat's more negotiation-friendly members. Our first meeting, he made no efforts to hide his contempt. Then again, he was the one who decided it was worth it to agree to regular payments to keep us in check. Make sure the Duats never have their interests aligned against Limbo. The man must have thought himself pretty slick, drafting up an agreement like that. Poor bastard didn't know that Marduk already told the rest of us that it was probably smart to not directly piss off Limbo. So the agreement was entirely unnecessary. Yeah, well, I didn't feel the need to tell him that. He's been a pretty reliable stream of income since. Once in a blue moon, he'll shell out extra to have us settle something he deems beneath himself. Like this hit. Yep. Although full transparency, according to him, he's not actually the person who requested this hit. He's like acting as an intermediary or something. Is that right? Yeah, well, I don't know if I actually buy any of that bullshit. He likes having plausible deniability on every goddamn thing. It's a nervous tick or something, I'm telling you. It really gets on my nerves. Anyways, intermediary or not, a job's a job. Yeah, but... didn't know how to phrase my next thought. I didn't know if I even wanted to vocalize it. Fuck it. If I double-guessed every single thing I wanted to ask, I'd probably appear more stilted than usual, and thus more suspicious. I should just ask things. Assassinations. Really? Is that really what the duats are? I mean, I'm not saying it's beneath us or anything. It's just... I don't picture the duats as a cheap organization that you can pay off just to handle anything you want. Ah, I see. No, I feel that. Can't say I particularly enjoy arrangements like this. What can you do? Must have been a pretty damn good source of free money. The job's worth a bit. We're here to make money. And more than that, we're here to keep our connections nice and happy. Sure, we could tell Art to go and fuck himself. But what would that accomplish? Just piss him off. I'd rather keep him happy. See, if we don't love it, we're going to have to do our job. I suppose. Hey, why are you complaining? This is super easy stuff, Thane. Hardest part of the job is getting up at an hour like this. I suppose you're probably a lot more used to staying up late, huh? He wasn't wrong about that. He also didn't have anything else to say on the topic. It seemed like this assassination attempt was going to go through one way or another. I just needed to wait some. And just to rest easy. It'll be time soon enough. Look. He got up slightly, looking around over the bushes. Then immediately he ducked back down. Oh shit. What the hell? What? What is it? Over by the bushes. Governor Aisha's right there. Governor Aisha? I also got up slightly, poking my head out over the bushes. Super dark where we were. It was unlikely she'd see anything. Sure enough, over by the dimly lit park benches, Governor Aisha was sitting down. She had her eyes closed, and it looked like she was taking deep breaths. Was she trying to calm down? She also had headphones in, listening to music. Or something else. Ducked back down. That's Governor Aisha. Yes, that's what I fucking said. What's she doing? Is she the target? Thane, buddy, the target's a guy in a grey hoodie. If we were going to try and assassinate the governor, it'd be a bit more involved than this. So then what is she doing here? Fuck if I know. I mean, the governor's building is right by the park. I've heard she works pretty late nights. What are the odds she's just here by coincidence? It's possible, I guess. The other possibility is her appearance is somehow connected to the fact that our target's going to be appearing soon. If that's the case, though, it would have been nice if Art could have told us that. That seems a bit more likely. So what do we do? He took a moment to think. No need to change plans. Accident or on purpose, Aisha's presence doesn't matter jack shit. We'll snipe the target when they appear and leave. Plain and simple. Wow, you make murder sound easy. Hi, Laura. Ah. Huh. You and I both let out small yelps at the unexpected sound of a new visitor. How the hell had Laura gotten the drop on both of us? The embarrassment was quickly replaced with a paranoia. You and I both looked out of the bushes. Had Aisha heard anything? No, thank God. Looks like her headphones came in clutch. Phew. The hell, Laura? Wow, the big bad do-out boy scared by a girl like me. What has our organization come to? Oh, bite me. You gotta be better prepared than that. I expect this from you, but you, Thane, you're usually more on guard. Yeah, the hell, Thane. Shit. But he slips up now and then. Point of order, how'd you find us? And you have a ready-made excuse right there. Don't blame me, we're already off guard because of that, points at Aisha. I do the intercept point. You'd be hiding around here somewhere. Okay, but how'd you know about the intercept point in the first place? Marduk told me. And why would he do that? Want me to watch over you two as you did the job. Guess he didn't trust you or something. Quit with the editorialization. You see, it probably sent you here so you'd get to know what it's like actually doing a bit of dirty work yourself. Oh, I've done plenty of dirty work, I'll have you know. And whatever. Bottom line is you're going to have to tolerate me for a little bit. So sorry for that. It's fine, it's fine. Right, Thane? Sure. Just don't mess up the plan. I'm not stupid. Speaking of things that might mess up the plan, what's with Governor Aisha being here? Fuck if I know. She's just here. Think she'll mess things up? It's probably fine. She's probably the reason why the target's visiting here. You figure? Yeah. I mean, I don't think she usually carries around conspicuous leather suitcases like that on a day-to-day basis. Especially not for a dead-of-night walk like this one. Like this one would hypothetically be. Leather suitcase. Yi popped up and looked over again. Huh, you're right. Yeah, that probably seals it. Aisha's probably meeting with the target. The poor sap's gotta be offed. Wonder what Art's thinking about. It's a mystery. Laura moved closer and sat down between Yi and myself. You know you don't actually have to be here. Just say you watched over us. It'd be better for all of us. You really don't want me here, duh? Obviously. You're not meant for this sort of work. And again, what work are you good for? I'm a valuable part of this organization. Could have fooled me. Clearly Marduk agrees with me. I'm the same rank as you. Are you questioning his decision? Pretty clearly, yeah. Wow. For the record, there's a lot more to this operation than money, making schemes, and enforcement. Maybe you two have been so focused on your job that you've forgotten about that. But for an operation like ours to be successful, you've also got to be managing smaller scale stuff. Making negotiations. Keeping everybody happy. Delegating responsibilities. Keeping morale up. All sorts of responsibilities. You may not notice it while I'm here, but what if I wasn't around, you'd surely take notice pretty soon after that. The disdain in Yi's voice was barely hidden. Clearly was not interested at all in anything Laura had to say. You know, really, what is your problem with me? Why are you always so hostile? Don't know what you're talking about. We're in private right now, okay? Just the three of us. Could we not bullshit? Oh, look at that, Thane. Seems like Laura's taking off her friendly optimist mask right about now. Good to see it. I asked you a question. Really don't give a shit, Laura. By that I mean I don't give enough of a shit about you to dislike you. Now there's a little bullshit and you know it. What, are you afraid of me? Scared Marduk likes me more than you? Huh. As if. I mean, that looks like what it is. I just don't like people like you. You like me? What the hell does that mean? Oh, you know. You know how you got to where you were. Work should matter. I don't want to... Whoa, enough. He spoke in a low, gravelly voice. It was enough to bring both Yi and Laura to attention. Huh. You know, this mask of mine did have some advantages. This infighting is unproductive. Laura, you know as well as I that the two of us have had our differences. Yi, you've made your disdain for Laura quite apparent. We're on a job right now. What's more, we are all Marduk's chosen. We should be professional enough to put personal emotions aside and focus on the task directly in front of us. Right now, the two of you look like children. My words lingered in the air. For a moment, it looked like neither Laura nor Yi knew how to respond. And then Yi broke the tension. Geez, Thane. Decide to shove a particularly large stick up your ass tonight. I know, right? I mean, geez, who does he think he is? Our dad? Sure fucking sounds like it. Maybe Marduk put him on parental control mode. Central processors might have been overruled with the nanny protocol. Maybe. Is the switch in the back of his head that does it? I wouldn't doubt it. Okay, now this is just bullying. I don't appreciate this. I didn't like this. At this point, both Yi and Laura had a light laugh. Well, so long as they quit sniping at each other, I guess. I'd rather be the common butt of a joke. That was what it took. Maybe you're right. This feud's beneath us. Us? Oh, don't be like that. Either way, you're right. We've more in common than not. I mean that between the three of us. I mean, we're all Duat's senior officers. We're all pretty fed up with Marduk. Here, here. If I had a drink, I'd toast you on that. I didn't break up that fight just for us to just slag off in a different way. I was saying we should focus on the job. Anyone tell you you're no fun, Thane? Constant yes. Ye? Huh. He's got you there. You two really are alike, Thane, we're focused enough. Going to miss the target. Just looking to kill some time. You didn't have anything to respond to. So either of you have any ideas how to kill time? I like playing games when I've got free time. I actually keep a deck of cards in my pocket sometime for that reason. No kidding. Yeah. You try playing a round of something. Maybe I could teach you star alignment. We do know that she learned that from Odin. Nah. Card games have never been for me. Oh? Yeah, for whatever reason, smart as I might be, I was already rubbish at games like that. Got a nasty personality, so I don't like doing things I'm bad at. I can see it. Thought we called a truce. Sorry. I said we should focus on the task. Suppose playing a game of cards. How exactly does that follow? Laura shrugged. Shame we gotta kill this target. He's a gambler, right? Would have liked to play a game against him. A gambler? Yep. Oh, did I not tell you, Thane? Remarks this guy named Locke. Oh? Apparently a 2-bit con artist. Typically wears garish suits. Likes to hang out around Nahoy's nest. He's the one who will show up wearing a gray hoodie. The one we're going to kill. Yep. Really have to wonder what Art's thinking ordering a hit on a guy like that. And how Locke has gone from Aisha ordering his assassination to meeting with Aisha in secret and Art ordering his assassination. Man, lots of people want Locke dead. It is weird. Art doesn't like contacting us for pretty much anything. He felt like this Locke guy was a big enough problem to actually pay for our services. The man must have something big on him. That's weird. Art lives a neurotically controlled life, all centered around eliminating weakness. Can't think of how a lowlife like Locke would pose a threat. And for that matter, why is Locke going after Art of all people? I mean, a grifter going after a day spa, I get. Would you think Polly would be the one at risk? He tried. Shh. I was the first one to notice. He and Laura saw him right after me. From our vantage point, it was impossible that he could see us. We could see him just fine. A man wearing a grey hoodie was walking down a stone path. Based on the direction he was walking, he was approaching the benches that Aisha was sitting on. Yeah, this guy's totally meeting up with Aisha. For whatever that's worth. Laura didn't respond. Good idea, considering that the mark was actually walking by now. What are you doing, Thane? It's time. Grab the rifle, take the shot. Alright. A little shiver went down my spine. I had to ignore the impulse. Turned around, and sure enough, there was the sniper rifle. One thing to do, I guess. Work on my object permanence. It'd been there this whole time. Reached down and grabbed it. Got in a proper firing position, and I didn't have an excuse this time. I mean, I had several. I'd say that it was the only choice, but it wasn't. I'd say that it was necessary, but it wasn't. I'd say that Yi and Laura would kill me if I didn't follow through, but they wouldn't. I'd say that Yi and Laura would finish the job in my place if I hesitated, but they wouldn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. Not killing this guy would be a fucking pain in the ass. Major, 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 major pain in the ass. A lot of things could and would backfire. My position would become very untenable very quickly. Saving this man would unquestionably increase the chances I ended up dead at the bottom of the ocean. Would absolutely be the smartest move for me to just fire and be done with it. However, to do so would mean killing someone I didn't have to. This wasn't the Milo situation. This wasn't self-defense. This was premeditated murder. No coming back from this. This was a crime, and to the highest degree. Sure, the person on the other end of the gun might not be clean. In some ways, he might have brought this on himself, based on the sorts of actions that he's been doing. But fundamentally speaking, he was an innocent man. Couldn't in good conscience say he deserved this. Move onwards, I have to kill someone who didn't deserve it. To move forwards, I have to become a murderer. If I did this, would I have no excuse left? Would I be just as bad as anyone else? Would I practically just be a Duat member? Would I lose any sense of moral justification that I had clung to before this point? Could whatever gains I might get from shooting this gun outweigh the cost of selling my soul? Absolutely. No. No, I was thinking about this all wrong. This wasn't an innocent man. Maybe he didn't deserve the death penalty, sure. This wasn't the same as shooting an innocent person. This was killing somebody in the game. I was wrong. There is a difference. When you enter the game, you assume a certain amount of reliability. You work with sharks, deserve it or not, you can't complain when you eventually get your arm bitten off. I am sorry about this. I truly am. If Milo stuck with me, fuck, so would this. There was never a choice. Question. What if there are no right answers? Answer. Don't answer. Word of the wise. Wait, shit, action minigame? Alright, let's play the action minigame. I lined up the scope just right. Fire, shoot, aim, pull target, wait. Easy, easy, no itchy trigger fingers here. I never actually fired a gun like this. I hoped that it wouldn't be that hard. It wasn't particularly. Until I need to make sure I didn't miss. Just then the man seemed to slow down. Guess what? I'll breathe, hold, panic, freeze. Nothing. I did nothing. Consequently, nothing happened. A slight pause was just that. A slight pause. Keep aiming the gun. Aim right up. Aim left up. Aim right down. Aim left. Aim right. I could feel a sting in the back of my head. Brain foreshadowing the fact that I wasn't reacting quick enough. Quick, I need to choose something before it was too late. Right up, right down, left, right. Right up, right down, left, right. A little lower, a little to the left. Clear headshot, clear headshot. Breathe, 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 breathe. I held my breath. Muscles stiffened. Pause, breathe, aim, shoot, kill. Then when I was barely moving at all, there was a bit of resistance as I pulled it back. But I kept pulling. At some point it crossed a threshold. Time slowed. A small explosion occurred at the metal pipe in my hands. And as a result, a tiny chunk of metal began flying out of the front of it. Slowly, it made its way through the air. At a certain point, the man in the hoodie could do nothing about this fact. Their fate was simply sealed, and in the half-second they had left to live, nothing could change the fact that they would die momentarily. The bullet flew through the air. Eventually it struck skin. Then blood and muscles. And then bone. A single horrific stroke, the bullet entered and exited the man's skull in the course of a single moment. Just like that, it was done. I had killed him. Well, I won 4 chips. Took a second for the man's body to flop to the floor. That was that. Time resumed. I breathed out heavily. I had killed a man. I was sort of in a state of shock. That state was soon interrupted by the sound of a shriek. I looked over and saw Governor Aisha jump up, shouting. She then looked around nervously, probably searching for the gunman. However, perhaps wisely, she soon decided to not stick around. She began power walking away from the body, away from the whole scene, just away in general. Before too long, she was out of sight. The only witness to the death fled. I didn't know how to feel about that. Then I felt something touch me from behind. I jumped to a fighting stance before I realized it was just Yi giving me a pat on the back. Nice work, Thane. Nicely going. Good stuff all around. Job well done. Yeah, super job at murder. Really ended that man's life with style. Is that sarcasm I sense, Laura? Ooh, you noticed. Clever. Laura, why do you have to be so derisive to poor Thane? What did he do to deserve it? Maybe she's being derisive to you for praising murder. Not being derisive towards Thane, and being derisive towards you. What did I do to deserve it? I don't know, let's start with giving somebody a pat on the back for murder. A little messed up that, don't you think? Oh, come on, Laura. It was the job. It was a do-what-assigned job. You really going to complain about that? I'm not complaining about the job. I'm just saying, even if it was a job, we don't have to celebrate murder. I'm not celebrating the murder, I'm celebrating a job well done. There's a difference. I don't see it. Well, that just sounds like a you problem. I'm going to go check the body. All right, but Thane, do you think that's the best? I stood up. Oh, okay, sure, you go ahead and do your thing. I walked out of the cover of the bushes. I had left my sniper rifle with the other 2. It was closer to morning than nighttime at this point. No cameras, no likely witnesses. This should be fine. Now, since I shot him in the back of the head, normally the victim would be lying dead, face down. However, in this case, he sort of skidded and tumbled some because of the momentum of the bullet. He ended up lying on his side. I walked right over to him and bent down. Oh, I looked at the familiar face. It's just heavily... Then I stood up. Familiar face. I looked back towards Yi and Laura, who at this point were also out of cover. Then I looked at the victim's face one more time. Laura, you said the target was supposed to be a gambler named Locke. Yeah? By any chance, is Locke another name for Secretary Ganny? Because if not, I think we got the wrong guy. Well. You're the wrong guy, huh? Huh. Can you say awkward? Hate to see it happen, though. It does happen quite a bit. Humans are all more alike than any of us care to admit. It is quite easy to fail to differentiate them. Oh, but I suppose I don't need to tell you that. There's a lot I could talk about with this scene. Shit Yi brought up, how Laura's been acting, the whole scenario. It's an interesting scene. So was the last one and the one before that. Wait a second. 3 scenes. Oh yeah, you know what that means. Time to check the bet. As far as I've seen, nobody else has quite put together who's currently donning the mask, so... You win. Oh, lame. My fault, really. Obviously our pal Thane wasn't going to get caught that easily. Bad bet on my part. I can own up to that. Okay, let's run it back. You won that too easily. I need to take some more of your chips. So, same thing. Does this Thane hide their identity for 3 more scenes, yes or no? Will Thane be discovered in 3 scenes? Okay, we're running this bet back. Fair enough. Darn, I wanted to have another go at this minigame, but I guess we'll save and... make another bet. Until next time. Until then, thanks for watching.